Happy Wednesday, everybody. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk SportsMemo.com. We're going to go over NBA and NHL props. We got our sneaky play of the day, stat of the day, and we got an Unbreakable sports record, Hall of Fame coming at you, an NFL record. And it's kind of in honor of fantasy football championship and playoffs this week. We've got an all-timer here. We're going to talk about him at the end of the show, but we're just going to get into NBA and NHL props. I didn't do shows. We didn't do shows Monday and Tuesday. I'll be 100% honest. I just didn't want to be on camera with the way my nose looked. And it's a lot better today. I feel 100% better. It's almost healed up. So I wish I had a sexy story for it, Steve. A couple of comments where they were like, you looked like you were at UFC 296, but in the ring, not in the crowd. Somebody was like, you look like you didn't pay your bookie on Monday morning.
That's perfect.
I thought that was a good one. And then I don't know. Somebody in the chat was like, I don't remember Andy having a boob on the side of his nose. I thought that was pretty funny as well.
Second one's better, though. It's still better.
That was the best one. Andy looks like he didn't pay his bookie on Monday. And I'm like, whoa. No. He's paying me.
Yeah, right.
After
you got hit after the pay. You got hit after the payment. We're done
here. Oh man! So let's just get into some NBA and NHL props, and we'll get into the sneaky play of the day and the stat of the day. Hit the like button, guys, please, and leave us a comment. Give us some positive vibes. My positive vibes is that I'm feeling better, and it's my birthday week. Thank God. I don't have to be scared to go out of my house. I don't want to scare kids on my birthday. So let's go to NHL first. Steve, we only got a few games tonight. Detroit, Winnipeg, Islanders, Washington, Seattle, and the Kings. I didn't really have much, but you said you got a couple you wanted to talk about. So which one do you want to start with first?
Well, my favorite one of the day is I'm looking at Matty Beniers for his points under a half a point. He did score 2 in his last game, but he's only scored a point in 10 of 33 games on the season. He's just consistently been under this mark, and this is a tough matchup for him against the Kings. He's went under this number in his last 2. He hasn't scored in his last 2 against the Kings, and if you look at them, they're allowing the second least shots on goal. They're a great defense, and it's a little juicy, but with him scoring 2 the last time and consistently falling short of the number all season long, that's my favorite look of the day so far, is the Beniers under half a point. But I'd also look towards Brock Nelson for shots on goal over 2.5. He's really just been on such a hot streak recently. He's went over in his last 6 games, and 7 of 8 on the season. 7 of his last 8, I should say. I'm sorry. And he's on a back-to-back, but he went over this total last night again in a game against Edmonton, where his team only had 21 shots, but he still managed to get to the 3 mark. That one's kind of secondary to the Matty Beniers. That's my favorite one of the day, is the under half a point on Beniers.
I wanted to bring this up. I've seen this with a couple of teams. This is kind of a smaller version of it. Look at this Washington defense. 9th in goals, but 16th in shots on goals. So you can the Bruins is the big one. They're like 3rd or 4th in goals allowed, but they're like 17th or 18th in shots on goal. So they allow a lot of shots, but you got good defense and you got good goaltending. So when you're looking at some of these categories, like, make sure it's applicable to the team. So I like how you're looking at shots on goal as opposed to points, because you got a Washington defense that kind of gives up a lot more shots on goal than the goals they actually allow. So I noticed that with Boston. I heard Carmine talking about taking shots on goal, and then they were, guy was playing Bruins, and I looked up the Bruins. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, you actually want to play shots on goal against the Bruins. I think you get a little discount on some of those prices.
Yeah.
I also like you taking under on points. I'm loving these NHL plays where you take things to not happen.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've taken an under on points. Actually, that one really just stood out to me because I had been riding Moritz Seider over 1.5 shots on goal. That's been a great one for me. but he's fallen short in his last 2 or 3 games. I laid off of him since it's kind of like all the juice is out of it. Essentially, the deal with that was that Larkin and Comfort, when they were both out, there were tons of shots on goal available on the table. And now that they've returned, there's not even, for some reason, Sider doesn't even have a number today for shots on goal. I looked and I don't see any sort of injury or anything like that. But regardless, I'm off of that one now with the return of Larkin and Comfort.
Okay, yeah, there's I follow. He's been bad with points. I've played him a couple times with no assists at -3.5, but honestly, he's not even getting like goals. So that was I don't know why I'm not playing this one. I probably should look at it a little bit further. I mean, Detroit's not great in goals allowed, and I mean the streak is just insane. One time in what is that, last like 10 or 11 games, but only 3 games, and I couldn't quite get to the window on those. But I like your looks, especially the under on the point there. Let's take a look at NBA here. There was one of them I wanted to talk about, Steve. It is Jokic. Look what's going on with him with his points. He's going under. I think this line even moved to 25, so we could move the line down here. And I want to pull up his 2023 stats. So there's a couple things going on here. Look at how many points he was scoring without Jamal Murray. And I think this correlates because Jamal Murray is back, and then you see the drop in point. Now, this game he got thrown out of. So,
right.
So we won't hold that against him. But you just see a big drop in points. And honestly, it makes sense. Like the Nuggets, they're championship or bust. And you don't want Jokic trying to get 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists every game. You're going to be exhausted by the time you get to the playoffs. So I think this is a lull. Remember last year, the Nuggets just sucked in like the last 3 weeks of the regular season because they pretty much had the number 1 seed wrapped up, and everyone's like, I don't know about this Nuggets team. So I think this might be the lull for Jokic. I mean, look at all the energy that guy used while Jamal Murray was out. So the other thing that I thought was pretty interesting is when you go down here and you take a look at what he's done, this is without Jamal Murray. I mean, look at these numbers: 35, 35, 36, 32, 26. He had a couple clunkers, but I mean, this guy's putting up 35 average without Jamal Murray. So then when you look at his totals with Jamal Murray, he's barely getting over 30. So I think there's something going on here with that one. I don't know what your thoughts are on this play.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense with Murray back in the lineup. That's just a ton of points added to it, and why wouldn't he, take a little step back and load up on the assist at that point and then grab what rebounds he can. But yeah, he was a scoring machine without Murray out there, but we add Murray to the mix, and yeah, I think this probably is the low for him. Maybe it's the best time to do it now, as opposed to right before the playoff time.
Yeah, you got to conserve energy at this point with where they're at. So, was there anyone else you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, I have another big man. Actually, I'm looking at Vucevic assists. It's sitting at 3.5 at plus. It's actually plus 110. It's kind of similar to the look with Jokic. It's just opposite of it with LaVine being out. Vucevic has went over in 6 of 9 games. 6 of the last 9 without LaVine on the court. He's averaging 4.3 assists on 7.1 potential. So his numbers just go way up when LaVine's not on the court as far as assists. They run the ball more through him. He had 6 against the Lakers the last time he faced them, and they're actually giving up the second most assists to opposing centers. So this is a great spot for him to go over this number at plus money.
Nice, Vucevic. I like that you brought up a big man. I'm going to bring someone up that made me look like a complete dipshit on NBA Tip-Off on Monday. So it's Jared Allen. So I was kind of all in on him with Evan Mobley out. No, he's been terrible. He's been terrible without Mobley in there. So I'm looking at his PRA. He had the one huge game where he had 40. He's not even sniffing this 28.5 number. Like, not even sniffing it. Like 18, 21, 24, 12, 16, 21. That Cleveland team, man, they got problems. They're all banged up. Sexton's out. Mobley's out. Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to be there. It wouldn't surprise me the slightest if Mitchell got traded at some point this season. And I know that Utah is a terrible defense, but I don't know. It's just not happening for Jared Allen. And I think the books are probably thinking the same thing we all thought was, well, no Mobley. Like he's, his numbers are going to go through the roof. And it's not there. So, I mean, and it's like, it's points as well. Like his points are 15.5. He had the 125-point game where he went 12 of 14 from the field against Atlanta. But other than that, not happening at all. So Jared Allen might be a guy to ride for a little bit. It's a great matchup, but he's not getting it done against good teams, bad teams. It doesn't matter. So Jared Allen was another guy I was looking at to fade. So
yeah, he seems like he's been a little bit of a different player this season. He hasn't had as much. I don't know if there's an injury situation or if he's just not happy with the team situation, but I guess big men is the theme of the NBA segment because I have one more.
Yeah.
Clint Capella, look at his points. His points under 13.5 tonight. And he's fallen short in 14 of 25 on the season, but more importantly, he's facing the Rockets, and they're only allowing 97.8 points per game. And if you look at it, Capella, he relies heavily on the pick and roll to score. They allow the third fewest points on the pick and roll. And over the last 15 games, they've allowed the fourth least points in the paint, which is where Capella feasts. Their defense is strong enough where they can rely on the perimeter guys to take care of Young and Murray. I don't think Capella is going over this total tonight. He's going to struggle, and they can't. If he can't score in the pick and roll, he's not scoring. So I'm looking under 13.5 on Capella tonight, despite him going over recently.
Yeah, he's gone over recently, but you look at some of those teams. There's Detroit in there. Ime. Are you serious? Houston is now one of the best defensive teams in the league with the same roster pretty much that they had last year where they were giving up 125, 130 points per game.
It's amazing.
That guy is unbelievable. I can't believe it. I mean, I thought he was good when he was with you guys for the Celtics, but this is like one of the better coaching jobs I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's amazing for him to turn that. They couldn't stop anyone last season. And no. You're right. They really haven't changed too much. They basically kind of have the same squad, at least the same core guys.
Yeah, Van Vliet, he's not like a defensive.
Yeah, he's not the one that's bringing the defense. It is an amazing job. It's a huge turnaround defensively for them.
Yeah, so look at some of the streaks. Embiid has gone over. He's got the most games in a row. I don't know. He keeps going over. He keeps making me look foolish, but 33.5 is such a big number. You need everything to go right, but I mean, kudos to him. He keeps doing it. We talked about Jokic. So we did talk about Jalen Green. He's went ice cold from shooting as well. So if you're looking for guys that are struggling, he could be one to look at. So, all right. Well, guys, it's my birthday week, so we're gonna do a promo code and have a little fun with it. Birthday 30. That's the promo code. Gets $30 off a 7-day pass. Was $99, discounted to that's supposed to say $69. My birthday's on Saturday, so this promo code just went up today. It's good all the way through Christmas. I know a lot of you got the 7-day pass. I'm not sure when it ends. Depends on when you got it, but if you want to continue doing the darts plays, I know we already cashed one this morning. We're just running incredibly hot in football. We're running really, really well in NHL. We've hit our last 3 NHL plays. We only had 2 NBA plays the last 7 days. We hit both of those. So just running great in all sports. So if you want to lock in the rest of darts plays, use that. You get all of our NFL plays coming off of a nice 5% win. So just use the promo code birthday30. Gets an instant discount, $30 off 7-day pass. Birthday 30, Andy Lang at WagerTalk.com. Steve, what do you have up for today?
So I'm going to have NBA and NHL up. I'll probably put it up in one pack today. But you can use the code HOOPS50 and you get $50 off any basketball package on my page. Any 30-day pass for basketball, you get $50 off. Use the code HOOPS50. I'm on a 12-4 NBA run, 15-7 all sports run. So I'm running hot in hoops right now. And I'm also utilizing college basketball player props. It's a category that I hit one in last night with an over on PRA. That's the category I've been focusing on. And 4-2 NHL runs, so I'm doing pretty well in the NHL recently too. But more importantly, NBA has been red hot, 12-4 runs. So use the code Hoops50 to get $50 off a basketball pack.
Was it in that freaking Michigan-Florida game where the final score was like 109-105? Like college basketball game? Looked like an NBA game.
Yeah.
Pretty sure everybody went over their total in that one. So nice work in NBA. That's a really good run. So sneaky play of the day time. Going Grant Williams under 4.5 rebounds. He's not getting rebounds. Going under 9 out of the last 10. 17 out of 23 for the season. I think this is one you might be able to just sprinkle every day because he's just not hitting it. He's not getting there. And the Clippers are 9th best at allowing rebounds. I took the Pacers got absolutely annihilated by the Clippers the other night, so I had a chance to watch that. I mean, the Clippers, man, that's a brutal team to play right now. I certainly didn't see it coming, but man, do they control the boards pretty well. Yeah, I think I'm not taking anybody against the Clippers to do well. I'll just say that, man.
They're on fire right now. Yeah, they're on fire right now. They're scoring tons of points, man. Every game basically is a high scoring game that they win. They look great right now for sure.
You got a very small window on getting a healthy Paul George, a healthy Kawhi Leonard, and a happy James Harden. Like, my guess is that you only got a few more weeks, so you probably want to take advantage of it now.
It's not something that's going to last the entire season, that's for sure. But
I feel like the Clippers are like our promo codes, where it's like, the promo code ends on Monday. With the Clippers, it's like, Paul George is not going to be healthy come Monday. Kawhi, only good through the end of the month. James Harden's going to be bitching about something.
Right.
So sneaky play of the day, Grant Williams under 4.5 rebounds. Stat of the day, Steve, you did this one. You're going to the NFL, right?
Yeah, so the Rams are been dominant in December, 17-4-1 ATS in their last 22 games in December, and they've been especially great at home, where they're 10-1-1 during that span. And if you look at it too, I think the Saints have horrible ATS record after in a game after a win. They're kind of not a very streaky team. So this kind of lines up for, it looks, everything points, as far as trends at least, points towards a Rams cover. They're giving 4 tomorrow night at home against the Saints.
Nice. Rams in December. Interesting. That's a trend.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
Yeah,
but like stellar ATS record at 17-4-1 though. That's amazing. I didn't expect that either from the Rams in December, but for whatever reason they've been dominant, and especially at home, 10-1-1. It's really strong.
Nice. All right, guys, hit the thumbs up and go ahead and leave us a comment. One of the things you can comment on is, what is an Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame? We are actually using that as one submitted by one of the comments, and it is from one of the OG fantasy football. I mean, how many fantasy football championships did this guy win single-handedly for people? So we were talking about like somebody submitted LaDainian his touchdowns, and we were like, should we do like fantasy points? Because he's got the most fantasy points in a season for running back. We're going to stick to his regular season touchdown record. So in 2006, he scored 31 regular season touchdowns, rushing and receiving. So Steve and I are going to decide whether this makes it into the Unbreakable Sports Record Hall of Fame. So a couple things I went back and looked. So he scored at least one touchdown in 11 out of 15 games. That kind of surprised me. Like, you would think 31. Oh, would he score every game? What it was is multiple touchdowns. He had multiple touchdowns in 10 out of 15 games. I mean, there were 4 touchdown games and 3 touchdown games where he just dominated the opponent.
Yeah.
So, and when you're looking at who's closest behind, Sean Alexander is second with 28 touchdowns, Priest Holmes third with 27 touchdowns, and Marshall Faulk fourth with 26 touchdowns. Put in perspective, this year Raheem Mostert and Christian McCaffrey, as of now, have 20 touchdowns each. This is interesting. In 2022, only 3 quarterbacks threw for over 32 touchdowns. So it's kind of hard to even throw for this many. So when you started looking this one up, what'd you come up with? What do you think?
So a couple of things I dug up were, so since 2006, no one's even sniffed this record. 18 has been the max since 2006. D'Angelo Williams, Adrian Peterson, LeGarrette Blount, Jonathan Taylor were some of the guys that got to that number in recent years. Another thing that I found really interesting was in that year, Tomlinson had 38 goals to go. He took advantage of getting runs on goals to go. He had 38 goals to go rushes. That where it's like inside the 10-yard line or maybe on a penalty a little bit further out. But since 2021, the 2021 season, only 12 teams had 38 goal to go rushes that season. And he had that in 1 year. So I mean, it's like that. He really just took advantage to the offense was able to get in the red zone a lot, and he was the one that took advantage of it. I mean, kudos to him as far as taking advantage of those runs, and it's going to be hard for anyone else to surpass it. I think a lot of it is because you mentioned Mostert, and a lot of it is because of the duos now. I feel like Mostert has 20 all-purpose touchdowns, but Achane has 9. So if there was one guy getting all of those, then maybe someone would get a little bit closer to it. But maybe the 17-game season, that's something you could throw into the mix. Does that help someone's case to get there? I feel like it's something that seems like it's almost unattainable based on no one getting there in close to 20 years. But can a guy like McCaffrey do it or something like that is what I was thinking.
I mean, McCaffrey is the most obvious choice. I mean, he's got 20 right now with a few games left. So he's obviously not going to go over. He is going to be in the ballpark, though. He's going to be just kind of sniffing the area, but he's not there yet. So I thought you brought up a good point about the duos. I mean, look, so you've got Sean Alexander, Priest Holmes, Marshall Faulk, and then of course LaDainian. That's in that window of where you had these monster bell cow running backs, where these guys just had all the carries and all the touchdowns. Like, could you even name who was the backup to any of these guys? I bet you can.
No, I actually can't.
I can't either.
Priest Holmes was Larry Johnson after he came after? Was that after Priest Holmes?
Yeah, I think there was that one. Wasn't it for the Chargers? Who was the guy that ended up like going to the Falcons? Like Michael, I can't. That was the point. Is off the top of my head, you really can't even say like, oh yeah, I remember Sean Alexander combined with so and so. What a duo! It was just like, no, it was just Sean Alexander.
Yeah, so I can't remember who was behind him. That's for sure. And if you look at him, he got used to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, keep going because I think you're getting.
No, and if you look at him, he got used so heavily that it shortened his career. You know what I mean? If you look at all of these guys, Priest Holmes got used so heavily. I mean, Tomlinson had more longevity, even though he had so many carries. But yeah, this running back position, I would talk about it with a couple of my buddies, how Sean Alexander was a guy we would actually bring up all the time. We'd be like, man, it was like night and day. He went from like one of the best running backs in the NFL to just 2 seasons later, he couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? He was out of the.
It was like first round pick in fantasy drafts, first round, like for like 5 or 6 years, and then he drafted him in the first round, and then next year you just didn't draft him. Like the fall from grace from him was amazing. But I think that has some. I can't believe the wear and tear that Christian McCaffrey's going through. Part of it is just the guys on his team, and Mostert. I don't think they want this much wear and tear on Mostert. I think Achane's been hurt, and they have some of the other guys they've had has been hurt. So I guess what's the recipe for someone to get 32? It's a Christian McCaffrey type, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be a guy that can catch it out of the backfield too. I mean, I know Tomlinson, he only had 3 receiving touchdowns that year, but that's such a boost for McCaffrey where he can score out of the backfield as well, I mean, but the wear and tear on these guys, and these teams don't want to expose these guys to that kind of wear and tear anymore.
So you got the risk for injury. You have a really, really high number here. So the question is, Steve, is this unbreakable? Will anybody break 31 regular season touchdowns? I got to say I'm on the fence about this one just because there's been guys that have gotten close. Someone like Kamara could do it. Kamara, don't forget, Kamara had a 6-touchdown game, didn't he? Or was it a 5-touchdown game? I remember it because it was like the last week of the regular season. And like, if you played him in like fantasy football, you were murdered.
Yeah.
So here's the recipe. I think the recipe is someone would have to get off to an amazing start. Like you'd have to have like a 5-touchdown game in week 1 or 2. And then you'd have to have a team that wants you to go for it. Like you would have to have your team on board. And like McCaffrey's literally the only guy that comes to mind in the NFL that would do it. The other guy that I think could actually do it if he got on the right team is Bijan Robinson. With how talented that guy is, like he's obviously not going to do it on the Falcons, but I don't know. What do you think, man? Is this unbreakable? Like in 200 years, are they looking back and being like, holy shit, LaDainian Tomlinson still holds the record? What do you think?
So I'm on the fence with it big time as well. It's just such a big number, and we just talked about how teams don't want to run their running backs into the ground. But I look at it and I say 17-game season, like you said, if a guy got off to a hot start and the team got behind it, you don't even have to get 2 a game. I know it. Scoring twice in every game. I'm saying like only that, like it's not a lot, but the thing is, I just can't put it in because it doesn't match up to some of the other ones. Do you get what I'm saying? Like he can't like the Gretzky one. It's just never going to be broken. It just hands down is not going to happen. The Cy Young one, the Jerry Rice one. It's just not going to happen. But this, I wish I could put it in, but I lean towards not putting it in because I think it could. The potential is there for it to happen again.
I'm with you, believe it or not. I thought you and I were going to be split on this. I was thinking about it last night, and I was like, I just don't think it belongs with the others. And I thought I was like, I think we may disagree on this one, which will be an interesting conversation. But I am in 100% agreement with you that it's impressive, it's amazing, it's possible it's not broken, but it's not a surefire. Like no chance whatsoever. So while it's like razor thin, I don't think it goes into the Hall of Fame. I think it's just got to be like a complete, like no denying this will never ever happen again. And I think there is a little bit of a recipe for it. So
yeah, I agree. I want it's like I want to put it in, but I just feel like there is the opportunity for it. Whereas some of the other ones that we've done before, there's just no chance that anyone's going to break some of these records. The Ricky Henderson one, the Cal Ripken one, everyone knows that's never happening again. You know what I mean? Like,
so 69 minutes in one NBA game.
Yeah, this list is like this list is something where it's like it can't be broken 100%. If there was like a secondary one that we had like right outside of the Hall of Fame, I would put him in there. And I lean towards it probably not happening again, but there is the potential for it.
Yeah, it just missed the cut. Is LaDainian Tomlinson 31 regular? It just didn't make it, man.
Yeah.
Poor LaDainian goes out there and scores 31. He can't even make it into the Hall of Fame. Oh, man.
He falls short of our Hall of Fame.
What a bummer. I guess we'll have to settle for the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy with that, though.
They'll let anybody in, though.
Yeah, that's...
we have big standards.
We have standards here.
So so that's gonna do it. LaDainian, you just don't quite. So keep leaving your comments about what sports record you want us to go over. So that was a good one. That was a really, really good one. That was close to being there. I'd like to try a different sport next week. Besides football,
Yeah.
we've done a couple football ones, so we'll see if we have another one coming up. I'm excited because golf starts the first week of January, so that's when I get to do like some Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. I haven't decided how to do them, but some of those records are unbelievable. Like even to the person that doesn't follow golf, you would just be like, wait, what? So that one is like, which one do you pick?
Yeah, I'm interested to see some of those actually too. A different sport that we haven't covered for this yet, and that was one that was suggested by, I think it was Drake Dimes suggested that one on YouTube, and he had that other one, the Brady had never taken a snap Brady has never taken a snap without being in playoff contention, but it was just one that we kind of had a hard time figuring out
what are the parameters?
What are the parameters? How could you quantify it as far as opposed to somebody else? But that is an amazing thing to hear, that Brady never took a snap without being in playoff contention in his entire career.
Amazing. So, I think that's going to do it for us, guys. So if you want to check out Steve's plays over at sportsmemo.com, Steve, give them that promo code that they can use on your plays.
Yeah, it's hoops50. You get $50 off any basketball package at sportsmemo.com. And I'll have NBA and NHL on my page today, and look for the college basketball player props and football as well.
All right. Promo code birthday30 for myself. Gets $30 off 7-day pass. Was $99, discounted to $69. That's all plays, all percentages. Get the rest of our darts plays, NFL, everything. Just smoking red hot right now in play. So take advantage of that at WagerTalk.com. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow with Team Total Thursday. Good luck on all your plays tonight. We'll see everyone tomorrow on the Road to Millions.
Good luck.